£144, year one profit. Everyone laughed. That farm's now worth $12.5 million. The brewery does $21 million a year. And when Clarkson dies, the government gets nothing. This was never a farm. It's one of the most sophisticated property structures in modern Britain, built in a muddy Cotswold field, disguised as a show about a man who can't reverse a tractor. Lehman Brothers collapses. The financial world's in freefall. Everyone else panics or hides their money. Clarkson puts $6 million into 1,000 acres of Cotswold limestone. Friends thought he'd lost the plot. He hadn't. He understood something the financial class missed. British land appreciates quietly, reliably, with one advantage nothing else offers. When you die, the taxman gets nothing. Agricultural property relief. Farmland passes to your heirs, free of inheritance tax. The last real loophole for the British wealthy, sitting in plain sight. That £6 million farm is now worth 12 to 13 million. He doubled his money without selling a single potato. That's not hobby farming. That's financial planning in a wax jacket. Here's the actual genius. The farm doesn't need to make money. Amazon pays for the farm. Clarkson's farm became Prime Video's most watched British original. Every tractor breakdown, every planning fight, every flooded field, all of it is content. All of it is revenue. A normal farmer loses money on potatoes, he's just lost money. Clarkson loses money on potatoes, he films it, Amazon writes a check. Caleb Cooper, the farm manager already working the land when Clarkson arrived, is genuinely trying to grow things, genuinely frustrated when they fail. The struggles are real, just monetized with extraordinary efficiency, because authentic failure is more watchable than managed success. Nobody planned the farm shop. Year one, 40 tons of potatoes. Supermarkets wouldn't touch a modest harvest from an unknown supplier, so he put a shed in a field and sold them himself. People drove from London, from Manchester, to queue outside a converted barn and pay more than Waitrose prices for honey and something called cow juice. Police managed 3-mile traffic jams. The business went from 44,000 in assets to 1.34 million in a single year. Not because Clarkson's a retail genius, because he'd built something people desperately wanted. A connection to a story they already loved. Nobody was queuing for potatoes. They were queuing to step inside the show. The council refused the car park, shut the restaurant with enforcement notices. 2 series. The central drama was one presenter versus one planning authority. Here's what Clarkson later admitted. A friend told him fighting for planning permission would make brilliant television. Every refusal was drama. Every enforcement notice was an episode. The council thought it was protecting the Cotswolds. It was handing him free publicity worth more than any permission could deliver. The restaurant lasted a month before it shut down. Lost money for 30 days. The television drama about it losing money earned millions. Even when he loses, he wins. 2023, he won his appeal for a car park. But here's the detail most missed. The permission ran 3 years only, which means more reapplications, more battles, more content. The planning system isn't an obstacle, it's the engine. He doesn't want to win permanently. He wants to keep fighting publicly, because the fight is the show. Series 2, he grew barley. It failed brewing standards. The solution was Hawkstone Brewery. By March 2025, Hawkstone posted sales of £21.3 million, nearly tripling year on year. 134% growth. The 23rd fastest growing private company in Britain. Stocked in Waitrose, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, over 2,000 pubs. The ad campaign got banned, pulled 1 million views online anyway. Clarkson said the ban was probably the best thing that could have happened to it. Unlike most celebrity drinks brands, licensing deals dressed as entrepreneurship, Hawkstone is connected to a real farm, real farmers, a real philosophy about British produce. People pay for that. The brewery turned a failed harvest into a national brand. That's not farming, that's alchemy. Then the farmer's dog pub, £1 million invested. Only British produce. Cornish black pepper instead of Indian. British beef instead of imports. No Coca-Cola. Nothing with a foreign passport. Employs 146 people. Barely turns a profit. Clarkson called it a brilliant way of turning £100 into 94. Most owners would call that a catastrophe. Clarkson calls it a strategy. The pub showcases British farming, generating goodwill worth more than any margin on a Sunday roast. Provides a filming location Amazon pays to use. and sells enormous quantities of hawkstone, where he keeps every penny of margin because he owns the brewery. The food is the loss leader. The beer is the profit center. Meet Britain's most valuable farm manager. Caleb Cooper was already working diddly squat before Clarkson bought it. A Cotswold farmer who never wanted to leave the county. Now worth approximately £960,000, including £400,000 in cash. His own touring show. A celebrity in his own right. What makes him essential isn't the money. It's that he's genuinely, irreducibly himself. Clarkson knows without Caleb, there's no show. A famous man struggling alone is mildly interesting. A famous man struggling next to someone who actually knows what he's doing is television gold. The council gave Clarkson a condition designed to strangle the shop. Everything sold had to be sourced within 16 miles. He treated it as a brief. Built a cooperative of local honey producers, growers, meat suppliers who'd never had access to a national audience. His partner Lisa Hogan said the council did her a favor, forcing her to find suppliers she'd never have discovered otherwise. What was meant as a restriction became a selling point. Every farmer dreads crop failure. Clarkson discovered it's his most reliable business asset. Rotted potatoes, failed wheat, pigeons destroying the oilseed rape, otters eating the trout. Each disaster that would bankrupt a normal farmer became an episode that earned him millions. Agricultural failure is profitable, provided you're filming it. Frost kills a normal farmer's harvest. He loses his income. Frost kills Clarkson's. He gets 6 minutes of television and a storyline. The pigeons aren't his enemy. They're his writer's room. Clarkson used to be the bloke shouting about Aston Martins. Now he's one of the most significant voices in British agriculture in a generation. The British Farming Awards gave him their top accolade. He's created jobs for over 200 people. Built an audience that's also a political constituency. People who now understand inheritance tax and crop rotation because a man they trust spent 3 series explaining it. The farm that made £144 in year 1 now sits at the center of an empire. A 1,000-acre farm worth £12.5 million. A shop doing £1.34 million. A brewery doing £21.3 million. A pub employing 146 people. A show rated 9.6 out of 10 by Chinese viewers on Douban, a number nobody predicted. We started with £144. A number meant to be humiliating became the foundation of something extraordinary. Because the money was never the point. Clarkson didn't fail at farming and accidentally succeed at business. He understood that failure is a story. And stories compound in value if you're patient enough to let people laugh at you while you quietly build something they haven't noticed yet. So here's the real question. Genuine visionary, or just a very lucky man with an excellent television deal? Tell us your answer in the comments. And if you've been to Diddly Squat, tell us what the queue was actually like.